Hey everybody, welcome back to the Music Hole. My name is Cole, and today we're going to talk about one of my favorite bands of all time, which of course are Broadcast. And this is their second album, Ha Ha Sound, from 2003, which, by the way, I really like that album cover. I kind of regret not putting it in my album cover video. But anyway, so it's kind of like a neat mix between 60s psychedelia, electronic music, and indie pop. And very unfortunately, the singer Trish Keenan died at a very young age in 2011 at 42, which is very, very sad because she's very talented. But anyways, these guys are really, really good. I definitely recommend, by the way, checking out their debut album, which I gave a perfect score, and I have a review for, so check that one out. But anyways, this one is also really, really cool, highly recommended, so I can't wait to talk about it. So let's jump in with track number 1, which is called Color Me In.
I am gray, still on the page, oh color me in. Just an outline, sketchy but fine, oh color me in. If green is chasing the hills over miles, if blue is pursuing the sky, see if the red of your heart doesn't mind where you begin to color me in. Something new and nothing to do, then I'm just the idea. I must be real, 'cause somehow I feel that I'm just the idea. Let's share the blue of the towering sky, the green of the hills that roll by. Leave the red of your heart to decide if you cannot choose which color to use. I'll always wait, it's never too late to color me in. To color me in. Today or next year, I'll always be here if you want to color me in.
Yeah, this is just an absolutely classic Broadcast song. It's my second favorite Broadcast song in general, next to Come On, Let's Go from their first album. But anyways, so the way I think about this song is everybody is born with a clean slate, so to speak. So when she's talking about coloring her in, I kind of interpret that as so many things affect who you eventually become, you know, like your financial situation. Are your parents nice or are they abusive? Is your brother or sister nice or abusive? Do you have like autism and so you have trouble making friends and like people at school make fun of you for that? You know, is the area you're from crime ridden? You know, there's all sorts of things. Like maybe you come from a country where everybody is a certain religion, so you end up being, you know, like Muslim if you're from the Middle East, for example. All sorts of things can affect who you eventually become, none of which necessarily is coming from within, right? Because you're just affected by other people in your society and your community and things like that. So I'm a firm believer in giving people a chance to redeem themselves, even if they've done something really horrible, because for all I know, they had a horrendous life experience. They were abused and, you know, they're constantly broke and maybe they're homeless for a while and people were like stealing from them and maybe their girlfriend was murdered. I mean, I don't know what happened to this guy. So even if, you know, somebody has done some wrong, I give them a chance to redeem themselves. I mean, otherwise, what's the point of a prison system, right? Isn't the point that you punish them and then once they're punished, like, okay, here's your second chance, here's your clean slate. So, I mean, that was a little bit of a tangent. But the point is, I think what she's getting at, and what I imagine she's probably saying is, we're all born with certain tendencies that can be nurtured or influenced by our surroundings and our financial situation and our spiritual situation and things like that, who goes to our school, things like that. So I kind of agree with her. I think that had I not grown up in a very loving family, and had I not gone to a nice school and a nice college, maybe I would have ended up a completely different person. Maybe I would be a drug addict or an alcoholic. I don't know. So think about that for your own lives. Think about how you might have turned out had you not had an easy life, or how you might have turned out if you had a hard life. How you might have turned out if you had a hard life, or how you might have turned out if you didn't have a hard life. Anyway, so that's the song. My favorite song in the album, hands down. But let's move on to track 2, which is called Pendulum. So I think this song, Pendulum, is kind of a companion piece to Color Me In, because I imagine a pendulum is an object, as we all know, that swings back and forth in perfect motion endlessly until interrupted. That's the whole point of a pendulum. And you kind of use it to keep time, or at least ancient people did. And you can also like track the motion of the earth through a pendulum. But the point is, I think what she's trying to get at here is, we are all kind of on a course that we can't, we're all on a course through life that can only be changed if we decide to change it, right? As I mentioned on Color Me In, what kind of family we're born into, our financial situation, what country we're born into, what part of the country we're born into, what high school we go to, who's in our neighborhood, all these kinds of things influence us to a really strong degree. And like a pendulum, you're just going to keep following that path that you didn't necessarily choose for yourself. And the only way to get out of it is if you recognize that you're being totally influenced by other things and you are not in control of your own life, so to speak. So like a pendulum, it takes an outside force to stop it or to change its direction, So in other words, let's say you grew up in a small town in America and you're very, very Christian and you hate gay people because you're very Christian and, it says that in the Bible or something. Well, the only way you're going to stop being like that is if you stop the pendulum, if you get out of this cycle and you recognize that there might be a flaw with how you were brought up or with your belief system, that once you were born, you were just on this course that can only be changed with constant thought and effort. So for example, I live in a very liberal city and I have very liberal thoughts because of that. And the only way I can really change those thoughts is if I take matters into my own hands and I research opposing views and I engage people who believe other things. I don't just stay in my bubble, right? Most people just stay in their bubbles and they never even give other ideas a chance, It's safer to do that. So anyway, this is kind of what this song means to me, all these kinds of things. Very few people take charge of their life and change the direction of their life. So that's kind of what this means. But anyways, let's move along to another favorite of mine, track 3, which is called Before We Begin.
Here again, at the end, before the beginning, so the salt will spill again. Throw it over your shoulder. Oh, it's in tomorrow, fortune or sorrow. Wait, you may win. I don't mean to show that I know how this goes. Before we begin again. You may hide on one side and me on the other. You may speak, but wait for me. Should my sentence falter? Oh, it's in tomorrow, fortune or sorrow. Wait, you may win. But now it feels empty, there's no need in guessing. Before we begin again.
Yeah, I really like this song because I went through the exact same thing in my last relationship. Because what it sounds like is you've got this couple and they're fighting constantly, right? They're constantly ending arguments and beginning over, and then eventually having another big argument, and then it ends, they make up, and then it's just this constant cycle where clearly they're not really meant for each other, right? They're constantly fighting. And as I've mentioned in several reviews, people would much rather just deal with the devil they know instead of starting over and trying to find somebody new who they are compatible with, who they don't fight with. And of course, I mean, the reality is, even if you find the courage to leave your partner and start over, you're never guaranteed to find a better alternative. You might even find a worse alternative. So because of that, people would rather just deal with their shitty relationship, which is of course what I did for the longest time. Because my past relationship, we would fight like every other day for hours, and it drove me crazy until I eventually left. But anyways, and you know, it's just, and it's even worse when, like, let's say you both have friends who are married or something, and they have kids, and they just get along so well, and they're so happy together, and you're just like, you just get so envious and jealous of your friends, and you just look at your own partner and you're like, why can't we be like that? And it furthers the hatred that you have for each other, right? So, I mean, the lesson to take away from this song is you got to be able to recognize a bad thing and nip it in the bud before it grows out of control, spirals out of control, as they say. Easier said than done, though. But anyways, let's move along and skip to track number 5, which is called Man Is Not a Bird.
The sky is faint, the tears remain. In me the rain has stopped falling.
Yeah, I really like this song because, you know, she finally has left this guy who they're constantly arguing with each other all the time, and they clearly aren't meant for each other. So she's taken the step. She's gathered the courage. She's left her man, and now she's alone again. And as she says, the rain has stopped falling, the night has stopped calling. And I like that because basically what that means is, okay, her troubles are gone, right? She's no longer in this, abusive relationship. Maybe that's a little bit harsh, but let's just say that. So she's left this abusive relationship, or at least this damaging relationship. And I think the point of the song is people can either take one of two directions when they do this. They can either wallow in self-pity and say, oh, I wasted all my time with this guy, and now I'm so old, and, I'll never find anybody else. And also they might, if they were abused, wallow in self-pity in the sense of like, and I'm not saying this is easy to get over, but like PTSD, it might really attack their psyche, and it might be really hard to just live their lives. So that could be one way that you end up, is you get like PTSD and life is really hard for you and you wallow in self-pity. The other way is you can look at it in a positive way, which is what I try to do in my own life, because you try to learn from everything, from all of your life experiences. So with this path, you could say, well, now I know what warning signs to look out for. I can also know for a future relationship what actually really means the most to me. For example, in my own life, I really enjoyed getting drunk with my ex and playing video games together. I really liked that. So now I wonder, with somebody new, how much does that matter to me? What if they don't like games at all? Would I care? That's just kind of like a minor thing you could say, but it's worth thinking about. And I would probably say for myself, I probably would care if they didn't like games. So you try to think about things in a very positive manner. Like, what can you learn from that experience? What can you take away to hopefully improve your life and to help you find a better partner? So, that's kind of how I think about this song, is she has realized that the pain has gone away because she's left her man, and the rain has stopped falling, as she puts it. So now her job is to learn from her mistakes and better her life. So it's kind of a positive song. But anyways, let's move along to track 7, which is called Lunch Hour Pops.
Stairs for a break in my mind. Let the balloons go outside. Let the balloons go outside. I wait on the stairs for my thoughts to align. You are the sun in my mind. You are the sun in my mind. Clouds rock like a ship at sea, soothe the waves of injury. Clouds rock like a ship at sea, soothe the waves of injury.
Yeah, this is another really cool song that I like, and I really enjoy the lyrics where she's talking about letting the balloons go outside. I like that because it's kind of talking about how a lot of your own life journey is inhibited by your own self. So in other words, your negative thinking is getting in the way of allowing your metaphorical balloons to go outside and to rise into the atmosphere of the earth, metaphorically speaking. Most people are kind of just trapped in this negative bubble, or in the terms of this song, they're trapped in their little house or apartment, and the whole world is not available to them. The outside world is not available to them because of their negative thinking. They've locked all the doors. They've closed all the windows. Their balloons are stuck inside and they can't roam free, metaphorically speaking, in the Earth's atmosphere. So in other words, to me, that's what this song is about. It's about recognizing that you are the one who is not allowing yourself to improve. You are the one who's really responsible for your life being the way it is. I mean, obviously there are cases where that's not true, but I think for the most part, maybe you're not trying very hard, or maybe you're just wallowing in self-pity and you're just focusing on the past too much. You're not thinking towards the future. All sorts of things you could be doing. Maybe you are drinking or doing drugs and you know you shouldn't, but like you're just so tempted to take the easy way out and like smoke up so you feel better instead of trying to improve naturally. So that's kind of what the song means to me. But anyways, let's move along to track 9, which is called Ominous Cloud.
Oh, let me sail away from the beach and lonely bay. The boats on the sea are blissfully free. They will come to no harm, 'cause the waves are so calm. Oh, let me think a while to the playground of your smile. The wind through the frame whistles your name, though you said goodbye. You did not leave my mind. Oh, I've got to get away from this town. Don't want to face the ominous clouds. Oh, not now, not now, not now. I've got to find a place, be myself and learn to face the ominous clouds. But not now, not now, not now. I'm gonna sail away, want to look back on the bay and hide with my hand what's left of the land.
Yeah, I think we've all been here, right? The ominous cloud is kind of, to me, you facing your past, really. I mean, most people try to not face it head on. They try to just push it to the side, ignore it, which in terms of like an ex might be like deleting all your photos together, throwing away all your photos together, throwing away all the memorabilia, like the letters you wrote each other, deleting all your texts, maybe unfriending all your common friends or whatever. It's so much easier to run away from a problem than to face it head on. And of course, when you do that, you run the risk, as this woman does on the song, of having that ominous cloud creep up. And when it creeps up and it's over you and it's raining on you, you're not ready to deal with it because you never truly faced this moment in your life that was so, well, not necessarily horrible, but you never faced this thing head on like you should have. So you're not really prepared for it. So she's trying to be out in the sea with all the single people who are all happy and apparently happy, and she has no idea who is a jerk or who's not. It's just a sea of beautiful people that she has crushes on, that she maybe wants to date or something, because obviously at the beginning of a relationship, all you've basically got to go on is, well, they seem nice and I've got a crush on them. They're really cute or handsome or beautiful or whatever. So there's none of like the real situations going on where you know them too well and you know that, yeah, they're cute and they're funny and they're nice, but they're also kind of a jerk in private and they're also kind of an alcoholic and they also kind of have racist thoughts or whatever it is. So anyway, I've been there. Right? I've tried to just push away my past when it came to my ex and just try to ignore it instead of face it head on and just get over it, right? So, I can't blame her because I've been there too. But anyways, let's move along to track 12, which is called The Little Bird.
Little bell lies on the ground, although it tries, it cannot sound. It used tone would linger there. But from a careless hand it writes, its shell is only made of crown. Although it lies there split in two, it still tries to ring out to you.
So my apologies, it's called the little bill. But anyways, so here we have the image of a broken bill, and obviously a bill's job is to make a very specific, specific and loud noise that you can hear from miles away, right? Church bells. And you've got this broken bell, and its whole like existence has been shattered because it still exists, but it can't perform its function. And I kind of imagine what she's getting at here is she's comparing herself to this broken bell in the sense of like, in her mind, she can no longer be her true self because of her past relationship or whatever it was that completely ruined her, right? She's gone from being very positive, I forget what song it was, but we mentioned it earlier. She went from being very positive to just deciding that she's forever broken, you know, she can never be the same person. She's probably even going down the drain into like alcoholism or drug abuse or something like that. She's just filled with negativity, negative thoughts. And it's really sad because this happens to people, especially as I mentioned earlier with like people who've been to war and they suffer from PTSD. You know, I can't blame them for, it's really the easy path to succumb to your PTSD and to become an alcoholic and to become a drug addict just to feel better, right? I don't blame any of these people. I probably would do the same thing. I've never been put to the test like they have. And for all I know, maybe I also would have become an alcoholic or a drug addict just to feel better. So even though she's gone from positive energy to negative energy, because she sees herself as a broken bell who can no longer be the person she's meant to be, because she's no longer the bell that functions, metaphorically. I can't blame her for at least taking a few steps in this negative direction and maybe being tempted by alcohol and stuff like that, and easy fixes, you know. But that's kind of what this song means to me, is somebody who has basically hit rock bottom and they truly feel deep down in their soul that they're no longer the same person. And it's going to take a lot of work to fix that. And most people don't have the willpower to do it, which I can't blame. But anyways, let's move along to the last clip I have for you guys, which is from Winter Now.
Snow lies all around, there's no sense of doubt. You are the only one to keep me sane when all is wrong. Oh, my heart waits in winter now. Deep in every dream, though you're far from me, there in the deepest snow, I only wanted you to know. Oh, my heart waits in winter now.
So this is the second to last song on the album, and I kind of think of it as a bit of a depressing ending to the story, because it's basically the end of the story, where essentially she hasn't really faced her past. In fact, she cherishes sleeping and waiting for those dreams where she's back together with her ex, is what it sounds like. even though she knows deep down that it wasn't a good relationship and that it's better that they separated. Pardon me. So in other words, I have certainly been there where in my deepest, darkest moments where I'm feeling very lonely and I've had a bad day and all these sorts of things, part of me kind of wishes that when I fall asleep, I'm back together in dreamland with my ex and everything is all roses and whatever the saying goes, everything's fine again. So that's kind of what it sounds like is, instead of moving on, she's basically succumbed to this unfortunate cycle of just like focusing on the past, thinking of all the good things, thinking of all the good memories that they had together. I mean, obviously they had good memories, but the danger, I would argue, is when you start focusing on only the good memories, that's where issues come up because you're not thinking about the bad memories. There's a reason why you broke up, and it's very easy to just cherry pick all the good moments and wallow in self-pity because you're like, oh man, I remember getting drunk and playing video games together for hours and hours, and it was so much fun, and we would watch all the latest anime shows together, and man, that was such a great time. I'm never gonna find anybody like that again. And then of course you ignore all those 10-hour, well not 10-hour, but like 5-hour fights you had till like 3 a.m. every other day, which is what I had. You just ignore that part and you tell yourself, when I go to sleep tonight, I really hope I dream of being back together with my ex when it was all nice and dandy, which of course it wasn't. So that's kind of what the song means to me, is she's kind of given up in a way. She hasn't moved on, and I feel bad for her. It is hard to move on, but you got to do it eventually. So anyways, that's Ha Ha Sound. What an album. It's not as amazing, I would say, as their debut, which is a 10 out of 10 for me, but it is really, really good. It's a must listen. I mean, geez Louise, these guys were really good. Definitely check them out. I mean, it's a band that more people need to know, in my opinion. So hopefully you guys like it. If you enjoyed my video, please leave a like and subscribe and comment with whatever you want to say. I'd really appreciate it. But yeah, that's Broadcast. That's their second album. Check it out and have a good one.